Hotep Senuhena Senut I Tiren Ishakandugu Kemet. The title of this video says Noble Arab in 1st century AD, white or black? Question mark. Well, check this out. Let me share my screen. It's time to wake up, brothers and sisters. It's so hard to say goodbye to what we are. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. What you are looking at, brothers and sisters, is a wall painting with a man's head from the 1st to the 2nd century AD. 400 to 500 years before Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Rasulullah. Black, red, and yellow paint on white plaster from Qariyat Al-Faw residential district and just make sure you can see the full reference. National Museum, Riyadh, reference 2182. You know what Riyadh is, do you? It's the capital of Saudi Arabia. You have the title of the book. Right there. Roads of Arabia, page 338. That book was released, if I'm not mistaken, in 2010. I think I purchased it in 2011 when a PhD in Islamic study challenged me to, and he publicly challenged me to a debate regarding the color of the Arabs. So since about 2011, I had this. This is just one of the slides that I had prepared for the debate. Do you understand that for all these years, and I've been hearing it all, linguistic acrobatics, linguistic gymnastics, biblical history, which is an oxymoron. People are trying to mix theology with history. Besides, there's other depictions that I've shown. For example, in the Louvre Museum. Anybody can go on my channel, my art forever, actually, hold on. There it is. My art forever, all in one word. And if you are on a desktop website, you have that search icon. Click on it and type in Arab. And you will notice that the nose that we can see here on this painting, oftentimes they look similar. Some of you might wonder, why did I put noble? This book is called Arabia and the Arabs from the Bronze Age to the Coming of Islam by Robert G. Hoyland. Hoyland. You can look up his name and you will see his credentials. He is far from a little homie. Now, on page 51, you do have the same painting that you can see on the other book called Roads to Arabia, Roads of Arabia. The difference is that here you don't have the color version. So on page 51 of the book, Arabia and the Arabs, we can read the description that says, Plate 8, a nobleman of Qariyat al-Fal as portrayed on a fresco found in the city. So this scholar said that this is a nobleman. For the record, that painting once again is taken from that book called Roads of Arabia. And just to let you know that this book is official. Roads of Arabia, Archaeology and History of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now the publisher is Louvre, that's the Louvre Museum. Okay? In French it's called Louvre Edition. It's like saying Louvre Publishing. 2010. And there was an exhibition done. And the exhibition Roads of Arabia, Archaeology of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is under the patronage of Monsieur Nicolas Sarkozy, President of the French Republic. Back then, he was the President of the French Republic. And the patronage of who else? Custodian of the holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, who is the king of Saudi Arabia. And there it is. That's taken from the book. I think it's official enough. When you have the French president, the king of Saudi Arabia, and that book is published by the publishing house, for lack of better words, of the Louvre Museum, one of the most famous museums in the world. And there are several scholars. I do have the list, but it's a bit too small. You would not be able to read. But just to let you know that this book is official enough. There it is. Now you tell me, brothers and sisters, does it look like a black person or a white person? This is 400 to 500 years before Muhammad ibn Abdullah. But some people are trying to make us think that the Arabs were jet black and they were invaded. And over time, they got mixed, / invaded, conquered, and that's why they look the way they look now. That same sad song, that same sad story. Brothers and sisters, the Louvre Museum is one of the most famous museums in the world, one of the largest museums in the world. So they have some jewels over there. But nearby, close to where you stay, there might be a museum with a significant amount of reliefs, of artifacts from what is called the Levant. Okay? Go over there. The museum near you or the closest to your location might have some artifact about Mesopotamia, Sumer, Akkad, Arabia, Yemen. Go to this department and look at the artifacts. You will see that the phenotype overall is the same. Just like I have demonstrated in my video entitled White Semite Black Awakening. There are some depictions of Arabs. And what's funny is that in that book there, unfortunately, I don't know what this is on the cover. Try to look for the reference of this artifact on the cover. But inside of that book, there are some pictures of the videos that I've shared with you from the Louvre Museum about different artifacts. And he shows some statues showing um, different kinds of people, male and female, notably from Syria. The phenotype is the same. So if you don't have Sumer, Akkad, Mesopotamia, you might have some artifacts about Syria. Some people might say, well, Syria is not Saudi Arabia. Hey, this is a scholar. He knows what he's talking about. Do you think you will find Arabs only in Saudi Arabia? And you look up the history about the language, about the Syriac. It's more or less the same peeps. Now you tell me, brothers and sisters, does that look like are those is that a representation of the jet black Arabs that we've been hearing about for so long? With all those people changing the meaning of words, taking words that mean brown and trying to make them mean black or jet black. As a matter of fact, not long ago, we have established, and there's two different brothers who said that the Arabs most likely look like Osama bin Laden or Saddam Hussein. We're far from those jet black Arabs. And that's why I sang that song by Boys to Men. So hard to say goodbye to yesterday. There are the allegations and there are the facts. Since 2011, I had this. And I've been laughing for a decade. I've been laughing for a decade when I've been hearing black people claiming those jet black Arabs. Maybe you have some depictions of the jet black Arabs. But I know you're going to freestyle. You're probably going to say, well, the depictions of the black Arabs, they got rid of them because it was inconvenient. Okay. Oh. I did not plan on doing the live stream this evening. Well, it's the evening right now in France. It's the afternoon in America. But I stumbled upon this. I stumbled upon that book from that previous author that I showed. And I was like, hold on. That rings a bell. And as you have seen on the other book, it's not in color. So I figured, you know what, let me share one slide of that presentation that I made back in 2011 after being challenged. For those who don't know what happened, the PhD backed down. He was scared. It is what it is. I didn't trip on that. You can see all that has been done. For those who want to use the hadith, well, I've already shared and I'm going to share again a whole article going through the hadith regarding the physical description of Prophet Muhammad. Oh, what's going on here? It's my phone. So share this, brothers and sisters. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. Okay, it's that one. Okay, turn this one off. There it is. Yes, 400 to 500 years before the lifetime or the time period of Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Some people want to tell you about the Umayyad and the Abbasid and blah blah blah. They were mixed. Then the whites took over because allegedly we had some black Arabs. But here is an Arab, a depiction of Arab, a painting of an Arab, and we have statues as well. But here's a painting of an Arab before, way before the birth, the date for the birth of Muhammad ibn Abdullah. What do you say, brothers and sisters? Does that look like a black man to you? So I will share the link in case somebody wants to say what's up, make a statement or a comment or ask a question. And then I will call it a day. But how do you feel about this, brothers and sisters? Are you aware that we have depictions of Arabs? A lot of our people feel like when it's BC time, we barely had anything. Claudia Barton wrote, absolutely no. I think she's answering the question, does it look like a black man to you? How you doing, Claudia? Have you ever called in, sister? Because feel free if you like to call in, I'd love to hear from you. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. People have plenty of reason why they don't want to show their face. And it is what it is, but it'll be good to hear from you. You know. I love to hear from the regulars, but I would definitely like to hear from the newcomers, people who started following me recently and those who started participating during the live stream recently. And Claudia is participating on a regular basis. Brothers and sisters, you need to keep this and save this here. You need to make a screen print of what you see here and show it to all the Arabized black people that you know. Claudia wrote, your singing voice not bad, law. I honestly thought about singing in Medunetra, but when I see the support that I have, I don't just like to get into an endeavor when I know from the get-go that it's not going to be so fruitful. So I'll wait and maybe my son or my daughter will do it. But I don't like to waste energy. And it's amazing because our people just listen to so many individuals who will just do some acrobatics, who will just do some theological genealogy and try to have you believe that those Semites were black. Sometimes they show you depictions of Semites, Mesopotamians, and they claim that those people were black, and you believe them. Even when it comes to Kemet, there are so many depictions from Kemet. We have depictions of Canaanites, Hyksos, Sea people, Amu, Asiatics. They don't look black at all. But sometimes they show you depictions of those people, and just because they have a little tan, just because they are darker than Russians, for a strange reason, you tend to feel like they are black, or you tend to believe that those people were black. But when you're familiar with looking at the artifacts from Kemet, you can tell the difference in terms of the phenotype of these foreign people, but also in terms of their hairstyle, of their dress. But this is straight up fact right there. Somebody wants to refute that, then be my guest. One official book with two presidents and another one from a scholar that, like I said, is far from a little homie. He has some strong credentials. And I insist that phenotype that you see right there is similar to so many different phenotypes. I've shown you there's some other painting in the Louvre Museum about some people from the Levant, Mesopotamia. They look the same. I mean, I have so many videos at this point, it's difficult to keep track of them. And I had started actually a page on my website to show different phenotypes from different time period, but it takes a lot of time. I cannot just do it all. Remember, I work full time. And I'm not saying that so you have pity on me, but I'm saying there's only so much one man can do. But I've shown plenty. And if you have not yet seen the video called White Mice Black Awakening, well, guess what? I'm going to show it now. It's an eye opener. White Mice Black Awakening. It goes against the grain, not on purpose. It's not like I woke up and I was like, I'm going to present something that is opposite to what was taught for all those years. No. I deal with the facts. And you can do the same test. You can go to a museums where you have those archaeological data, record, artifact, and see for yourself. Have a look at those people. It's consistent. Trust me. It is consistent. Our people have been teaching for so long. That's us. We were there. Now, Serapis Christos wrote, tell that to those Hebrew Israelites in the US. I'm telling it to the whole world. I'm telling it to everybody. Everything except the Tamari were black. What is Tamari? You mean Tameri? Claudia wrote, Boko Haram destroying their artifact, which were bought by underground American traders, allegedly, I remember. And I don't expect people to just clap and say, well, that brother Shaka and Lugu came at, damn it, man, he came with this and that's the greatest insight ever for black people worldwide. I don't expect you to say that because I did not place those artifacts in museums. I did not publish depictions or copies or pictures of these artifacts in those different books. And what is a shame is the elders who, for some of them, have been teaching this black Semite business. It's never too late to make an amendment. Does the data allow us to say that the Semites were black? I doubt that. Now, Claudia Barton wrote Nimrod. Nimrod, that's a biblical character. Do we have any data, any record for Nimrod? I doubt that. I really doubt that. But some people indeed feel like Nimrod was a black man. Has something to do with his genealogy, actually. I think he's a descendant of Ham, who is supposedly an ancestor of black people. Now, more surprisingly, If you are not aware, we have some Hebrew Israelites. We have some Hebrew Israelites and some non-Hebrew Israelites as well who claim that King James was black. So, I mean, if King James was black, there are no stopping. Now, I don't know what Claudia means by place. Serapis wrote, I have been watching you forever and I'm Sephardic. Okay, that's interesting. May I ask which country you are from? Feel free to call in, you know. Okay, Claudia is saying that when she wrote numerals, she means a place, not an actual person. Okay, I'm going to have a quick look. I was not aware. But there's one thing that I should not forget to share. The work that I am the most proud of, Kemet and Ma'at, before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. If you have not seen that video, you're sleeping. Serapis Christos, feel free to call in. And if you don't mind me asking, where are you located or where are you from? Whenever I hear Sephardic, I think about North Africa. And let me look at Nimrud. Okay, ancient Assyrian city, 20 miles south of Mosul. Okay, all right. Serapis is from Kingston, Jamaica. Wagwan, Wapen, everything Chris in the place, but living in the US. So what's up? All right. Okay. So nobody wants to call in. It's about half an hour. So should we cut it a day, brothers and sisters? You are too shy to call in. Should we cut it a day? What should we do? Let me know. Should we cut it a day? Let me know. Irie. Serapis wrote Irie. Yeah, man. Reminds me of my Jamaican massive down in England. Oh, Radio 1. Hotep Sen, how are you? I don't hear anything. Do you hear the brother?
Yeah, can you hear me, brother?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh yes, yes. Hotep, how you doing?
Hotep, I'm doing great, brother. How about yourself?
Oh, good, good. Yeah, I gotta exit out. I gotta exit out one of.
Okay, the brother's obviously busy, but he might get back. So, Claudia wrote Shaka Patwa. You know, Oliko. I'm not really great. I'm not really great when it comes to Jamaican Patwa. I'm not even good with accents in general, anyway. Never been good with accents. I guess the only good accent I could imitate is a French accent. I could speak like that. That is the way the French people speak when they speak English. That is the way it sounds. Sir, brother, Radio 1. Same thing. I don't hear you now.
Yes, can you hear me now?
No, I can. Yes.
Oh yes, yes. I had a little disconnection there. Yeah,
No problem. No problem.
yeah, man. I was listening in. Yeah, and that's some interesting points you made there. Yeah, but I couldn't. I can't help but to bring to your attention. I was watching a video done by Zion Lex today. It was on one of his lives, and he was trying to explain the Mesopotamian origin for ancient Kemet. And this guy, I mean, it sounded ridiculous, man. I mean, it was so pseudo, and like Zion Lex, he's good with convincing, like, you know, trying to convince people to believe what he's saying, you know. But man, the guy, I mean, it was terrible, man. It was terrible. I mean, he showed no evidence whatsoever. I mean, everything he said was just based on his theory, because he said, because there's this artifact in Egypt known as the Jebel Arak knife.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. You're familiar with that, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and it shows a Mesopotamian king in the middle of two lions, and it shows some other, you know, like some naked people fighting each other. And he tried to say that this proves that Kemet was founded by Mesopotamians.
There are two knives like that. One of them is in the Louvre Museum, but
Yeah, and
I think, let me see if that's the one. Okay, so there's one in Cairo, and there's also a knife in the Louvre Museum that's it's kind of showing the same kind of stuff. But yeah, go ahead, brother. You wanted to say something else?
and yeah, I mean, it was all based on his theory. He did not prove it whatsoever. But what he failed to mention was, in order to make that connection, and make that claim that Kemet was founded by Mesopotamians, you will have to show a you will have to show a predecessor and a successor, or a continuity of that Mesopotamian culture continuing in Kemet. But truth be told, there's no evidence to show that it preceded Kemet or succeeded Kemet, and it has absolutely no connection whatsoever to the pharaonic dynastic culture of Kemet. Because in order to prove that, okay, you're trying to say that the ancestors of Narmer were these Mesopotamians. Well, you would have to prove that Narmer was somehow related to that Mesopotamian king on that Jebel Arak knife. You would have to show Narmer wearing the same crown, the same clothes as that Mesopotamian on that Jebel Arak knife, and you do not. No similarities, no comparison whatsoever. This guy he sat up there and told a pseudo history origin of Egypt. I mean, no connections at all. But he will sit up there and deny that Mesopotamia, he will sit up there and deny that the Kustul incense burner in Nubia does not prove that the founders of Kemet came from Nubia. Now, I heard him make that claim, and he tried to deny that, you know, that the founders of Kemet came from Nubia, and he tried to, you know, give his own twisted theory on the Kustul incense burner. But we see clearly on the Kustul incense burner, we see a connection with Nubia in the first dynasty. We see the white crown. You know, we see all the symbols. The connection is there. You know, and I've been telling people for the longest that the the crystal incense burner, the white crown, and all the motifs on the crystal incense burner predates the first dynasty. That's a fact because the first dynasty or the Narmer's palette shows shows the name, the hieroglyph of Narmer's name that took
I'm,
place
I'm, so,
later.
I'm sorry. Come again. What did you say about Nama's name?
Yeah, the Narmer's name where it shows the chisel and the catfish.
Yes.
Yeah, like that came later, but we don't see
Okay.
that on the crystal. Yeah, we don't
Mhm.
see that on the crystal incense burner. So that goes to show that the crystal incense burner is older because all we see is a white crown and a couple of motifs and um and also there's um a king depicted with a white crown in Aswan as well. And we also see no hieroglyphs, no name, but that goes to show that it's older because the name the name that yeah the hieroglyph or the name that shows the king that shows the king's name that came later. And also he showed no text, and this was during the time where text didn't exist. you know um would have been nice if he showed a text saying that the founders of Mesopotamia came from the Far East and came into Africa and et cetera, et cetera. But he didn't show that. It was just his theory. He made it up. And he could sound as good as he want when he ain't got nobody challenging him. But I bet if someone was to challenge him, then he would be debunked easily. His information will fall short. And
No, I remember when I saw him talking with Ngozi, and the topic was which civilization was older or first? Was it Mesopotamia or Kemet? And he at one point Zion Lex talked about Lapis Lazuli, which was one of the precious stone, and it was his way of making an excuse for some artifact with blue eyes. So he went on. You know how he can be condescending, talking about, yeah, you like, I'm paraphrasing, but like, you don't know what you're talking about. You just don't know that there's lapis lazuli and it's something precious that they will use it, for. Once again, I'm paraphrasing, but like, we use for royalty or we use like symbolically. And the things that, okay, you usually hear, excuses. I call that excuses. In this case, how come we don't have lapis lazuli on a consistent basis on those artifacts showing people of the high class, people from the royalty? You see, it's
yes,
easy to,
mm,
and it is what it is. I mean, brothers and sisters, our brother Radio One was talking about the cold stool incense burner. I've shared the link from the Oriental Oriental Institute, University of Chicago, and you will see indeed that there is a seated ruler with the white crown. Now, for those who are not familiar with the white crown will be for Upper Egypt, and Upper Egypt is down south because the Nile
yes,
flows south to north. Our ancestor used to see the map of you used to their orientation will be basically upside down in comparison to the way we see it now. That's why whenever you hear Upper Egypt, that's down, and Lower Egypt, that's up. So the white crown, that's for the south. The red
yeah,
crown, that's for the north. And ultimately, later on, you will see the Nesu or the king with the two crowns. A lot of time you see Osir or Osiris. with the white crown. So that's quite interesting indeed. And I forgot to mention the date given for the incense burner is at the bottom of the page that I've shared. It says between 3200 and 3000 BC. So let's give and take 200 years. But Narmer is the date usually given for Narmer, the one who is known as, for lack of a better word, the first pharaoh or the the one who unified the two lands, Tawi, and two lands, of course, that's Upper and Lower Egypt. Narmer, usually the date for Narmer is given as 3100 BC, 3100 BC. So,
Yes, yes, and I noticed also that some archaeologists try to use carbon dating to somewhat alter the date of the Cusco incense burner. Try to make it, try to make it younger and rather than older. And and that's the problem I have with carbon dating, because that that allows the pseudo to try to alter the date. That's why I say the best dating um is comes from text and writings. When you discover a text and you can see on that text what the king's name on that text, and what the reign of a certain king, and you can properly date it to that time. But with carbon dating, the pseudo archaeologists, they can try to push the date back, push it forward, and try to be slick, and trying to discredit a certain artifact by putting a later date on it. But if you examine that artifact, and there are certain signs and certain images on that artifact, then you can determine like how old that artifact is and compare it with other artifacts that's dated to that time period. And yeah, but yeah, you definitely have to be careful with guys like Zion Lex. I mean, yeah, because I mean, what he said absolutely made no sense whatsoever. That's like saying the Mesopotamians, just because you found the Mesopotamian knife in Egypt, that's just as silly as saying, I mean, yeah, just because you found a Mesopotamian knife in Egypt and saying that proves Mesopotamia is found in Egypt, that that is just as silly as saying the Hyksos founded the 18th dynasty.
yeah,
You know, I mean,
yeah.
just because the Hyksos were in Egypt during the 18th dynasty, that does not mean that they founded the 18th dynasty. You know, if anything, it proves that Egypt put an end to this Mesopotamian culture. That, I mean, it's just a theory, but I mean, that's a better theory to state that Egypt actually more likely put an end to this Mesopotamian culture in Egypt, because after the first dynasty, we don't see it no more. You know, you have to show a continuity of Mesopotamian kings from the first dynasty all the way to the 18th, 20th dynasties and later dynasties. Show a continuity of Mesopotamian kings ruling up to that time, and you do not see it. And Zion Lex would have been better off, you know, proving that the kings of Assyria and Babylon, Persia, had more ties to Mesopotamia than Egypt. But him trying to connect these Mesopotamians to Egypt, he failed because it made no sense. Yeah.
I mean, I have read before, I don't remember which book or which author, but I've read before some hypothesis, some claims that Nama would have been an Asiatic, and that it would have been some Asiatics who had something to do with the founding of Kemet. I mean, these are some things that I've heard before, but the things that for anybody that deals with the Abrahamic literature and belief system, is not difficult to convince our people, because most of our people are into those stuff. So if you come and you come on the pretense of scholarship and you try to make some correlation with Mesopotamia, remember that's Ur. Abraham is said to come from Ur. That's Mesopotamia. So they have this emotional attachment, and they try by any means necessary to validate um, this religious writing. They try basically to put themselves in the mix. It's nothing new. It's nothing new, and a lot of our people don't really do much research. They don't even go to museums, so they're not even familiar with the artifacts. But if they will go to these areas of the Levant, of Sumer, Mesopotamia, and so on, Akkad, what they will see not only is that the phenotype is similar. I mean, I've been going to museums for years, so I'm very familiar with
Mm.
that. And on top of that, they will see that a lot of time, that regularly you have the moon and crescent and stars.
Ah.
And if they
Mm.
read the descriptions, they will see some of those different deities that are mentioned in the religious books. They will see
Yeah.
Baal, they will see Astarte. You know, now I don't
Mm.
recall seeing a lot, but if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, in that previous book that I've shown, there is a
Mm.
statue showing. Well, if it's not Alat, it's Lat. But let me. No, I've closed the book. I'm not gonna go through it. But they will see so many of these different deities that we hear about. I
Yeah.
mean, but the crescent and the moon, and actually, I show a fair bit of that in a video called "Why Semites Black Awakening." But our people have belief, so they just want to believe in that stuff, and whatever is said that will make them comfortable in their belief, then it's a bonus for them. It's a bonus, you see.
Yeah. Mm.
And
Yeah.
people can have belief. They can believe in whatever religious book or whatever religion they want, but they can be fair as well and say, well, there's no evidence, there's no record, there's no data to establish this or that. But nowadays people will roll with everything. Now let me just read this quickly. We have Anuket who wrote the water markings on the Horem Akhet, so the Great Sphinx of the Giza Plateau. I trust Anthony West data over 40,000 years. Now, it's been said on some documentaries and maybe on some books as well. I haven't read, what's the name? I think it's Black Genesis, that guy called
Yeah. Robert Bivol.
Boval, yes. He I've seen him on some documentaries, and he might touch on that on his book Black Genesis. But there's traces of erosion, so people believe that it was a time where it was not really like a desert as we know it now, and that there was water. So people have reasons to believe that some people believe that the Sphinx is about 10,000 years old. Uh, I I don't claim that, but some people say that. Some people say that. I mean, not long ago, I
Yeah.
saw. I can't remember who said that, but one person was saying, um, I don't know if it was a documentary, but someone said that the pyramids of the Giza Plateau are not aligned with the Orion Belt, and and that's the first time I heard that, because usually,
Ah.
but anyway, it's all good.
Yeah.
Now, um, Asiatic Lion wrote, I can't say Zion failed. I approached the subject through the Anu and Heliopolis on City of the Anu Black Asiatics. Well, our dear brother Asiatic Lion, and I wonder why you keep changing your username. You know, you have three that you use on a regular basis. You use Afro Asiatic, you use Asiatic Lion, and there's another one, but I forgot what he says. But our dear brother, look at this here. Whenever our brother talks about Black Asiatics, that's what it is. And besides, once again, we have established that whenever they talk about Black Asiatics, um, that's people looking like Osama bin Laden, people looking like Saddam Hussein. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Also, they also try to deny the crystal incense burner. Like they try to discredit the crystal incense burner for being the, you know, the for being the founder of Egypt by, yeah. But they try to say that because the crystal incense burner was made of alabaster proves that, the the crystal kings were not Nubian, because they say alabaster was made in Egypt, which is not true. It's also found in other parts of Africa as well. But even if it was made in Egypt, that still does not prove that the crystal kings were Egyptian. Because if you're going to say that, then you're going to have to say, well, because the 18th dynasty used gold from Nubia, okay, to decorate their temples, and the gold came from Nubia, then we can say, well, because the gold came from Nubia, the 18th dynasty was founded by Nubians. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, you can't say that the crystal kings were not Nubian because the crystal incense burner was made of alabaster. That makes no sense. But the most important thing is it was found in Nubia. It was found in Ta City. It was discovered in Ta City, and there's no written evidence of it coming from outside of that. You know, and it's just based on theory that they can't prove.
And there's so much record. If Nama or some Asiatics would have found it came in, I expect that we will see some sort of relationship between those whatever language it was, whatever language it was that was speaking in Mesopotamia, and it would depend on the time period, but we would expect to see some sort of relationship. But I'm not even tripping on that. I'm not tripping on that at all. But here, I almost forgot to share it. Oh, actually, I did share it. I did share the link from the British Museum. Okay, and this is the standard of war. I've talked about this a lot of times. As a matter of fact, I have a video called Black Semites Shocking Revelation. You can see how old that video is. So, in the standard of war, you see some individuals. Now, war, that's Mesopotamia, okay? And the date given is 2500 BC. That's the Louvre, not the Louvre, sorry. That's the British Museum. I did not make that date up, okay? So, right from 2500 BC, 2500 BC, look at their phenotype. And what I argued, what I demonstrated in my video, White Semites Black Awakening, is that ever since 2500 BC, the phenotype of those Asiatics, of those Semites, of those Sumerians, of those Mesopotamians, it has been consistently the white type, Caucasian type. It has
Mm-hmm.
been consistent. And it
Yeah.
goes way back, way back. Look at them. Look at them. And the big
Definitely.
figure is described as the king. You
Mm-mm.
can look at the
Oh
video,
man.
White Semi Shocking Revelation. And guess what? As a matter of fact, let me show you something, brothers and sisters. I will show you something.
It's,
I will show you something.
it's definitely not Egyptian.
Oh, yeah. Now, Black Semi Shocking Revelation. Come on now. Too many videos now. Forever. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I will do it another way. I will. I will do it this way. I even have a video where I'm filming the standard of war directly uh, from the in the British Museum. I will do that and search directly on my channel, so it shouldn't take long. Why is it not there? I have not removed it, have I? So I will try just black semis then. Oh, there it is. There's the video. Great. So let me share the link first. So, black semi shocking revelation. Now copy and paste the link. Okay, you have it in the chat, so you can have a look anytime, brothers and sisters. And now I'm going to share the screen. Let me share the screen. And what you see is from the British Museum. How old is this video? March 4, 2017. And it's probably not the original date when it was uploaded, but I'm not going to repeat what happened. So some of our people will feel like they have something to do with black Africans because of their tan, but those are Asiatic people. So when it comes to the standard of war, oh, hold on. See this? That was back then, but that was the British Museum. That's a screen capture. Here, that's the link in blue. See? I usually give references, and what does it say there? The king, the largest figure on the panel. Now, another thing that was written on the Louvre, I'm so used to say Louvre Museum, on the British Museum website is this: the ancient Sumerians, the black-headed ones. And I'm sure some of you brothers and sisters have heard that. I mean, look at those look at their phenotype there, and that's another thing as well.
Yeah.
A lot of our people have heard, oh, the Sumerians, they used to be called the black-headed ones. You know, the Saigi, whatever they say. Look at your black-headed ones. You see? So
You know,
try, brothers and sisters, to go straight to the artifacts. Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
you notice it says black headed and not black skin. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
black head can mean
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that can mean anything. You know,
Mm.
they
And
can.
now, I'm sorry. Um, we have Anuket who wrote, I trust this work more than these PhD Egyptologists. Atenya wrote, where did the Hyksos come from in the first place? Atenya, you left a comment on a video. Let me see, I should have it. Now, yes, it's about a video that I've uploaded today from the Louvre Museum, and it's entitled 2000 Years Before Champollion and the Rosetta Stone. And Atenya, you wrote, but I'm not seeing the connection between the hieroglyphs and the Greek or another language. Actually, you need to have a look at the Rosetta Stone, and you have the same text in the Medo-Natural language and the Greek language. When it comes to the Medo-Natural language, you have two scripts. You have the classical hieroglyphic, and then you have the Demotic. And when it comes to the Greek, then it's just the Greek language written with the Greek script. So that's where you will get an understanding. And if you have more questions, then feel free. Now, as for where did the Hyksos came from in the first place, we don't know for sure. Like I was saying the other day, I think it might be Le Normand, but I've read once that it was believed that maybe the Hyksos came from Arabia. However, most likely they came from the area that they used to describe as Syrio-Palestine. Uh, One of the clues that this is where they fled to when they were kicked out or expelled, and some other clues are probably coming from their names. See, so that's what I would say. As a matter of fact, I have a video from the the British Museum, where they said that Hyksos came from Palestine. You see, but I don't remember the title. I would have shown it to you, but I don't remember the title. Um, I can try to have a quick look. Might be the one where I'm dealing with Hapiru, because there was a time where it was fashionable. It was a trend to say that the Hebrews were Hapiru. You know, I mean, I kind of heard it all through the years, but let me have a quick look there. You know, so let me see if, but I don't think it's that one. I think it was a large. It was a large board or description, and they said, you know what? I will try. I will try to find it, but feel free, brother, if you want to add on.
Oh yes, yes. And also, just wanted to mention that this what Zion Lex is doing is very dangerous, because by him promoting a Mesopotamian origin for Egypt, he's given a green light. He's also promoting, a whitewash Caucasian Egypt, because you can't go nowhere in Iraq or Iran today and show, black people, and even if there is black people, they're a minority, and they're not even native to Iraq and Iran. They came from somewhere else, but but if we stick to the truth and stick to the artifacts, and stick to the fact that Egypt was founded by native indigenous Africans, then you know that they were black Africans, because you can go there today and see black Africans, even in southern Egypt, Sudan, black Africans, the Western Desert, you know, um, Mauritania, Chad, southern Libya, Ghat, that area, you see black Africans, in that southern interior region. But you can't go to Iraq and Iran and do the same, and a Mesopotamian or Middle Eastern origin is not supported by the artifacts. So that because first of all, you're telling a lie when you do that, and second of all, you're proving that it was not black people. If you're trying to promote a Asiatic origin for Egypt, when you promote an Asiatic origin for Egypt, you're promoting a non-black origin. Keep that in mind. Okay, you are in favor of a whitewashed Egypt.
But funny things that they're not saying that, they're not claiming that, they're claiming that it's black people all over, that all black everything, but the geographical location just doesn't match with our people, you see. But luckily, I've found that the video, and I've shared it in the chat. The title says Hyksos, Palestinian Descent, and in parentheses, British Museum. And I stopped the video actually where on that board there, it says much of Egypt came under the control of rulers of Palestinian descent, in parentheses, 14th to 15th dynasties, the most important of whom were the Hyksos. So this is not me. This is the British Museum. See?
Uh, uh, yeah, and I find it funny as well. Zion Lex showing that Mesopotamian knife to prove a Asiatic origin for Egypt. He was. I mean, just imagine him. Just imagine him showing a Persian object dated to the 5th century BCE, saying, "Oh, this proves the 26th dynasty, the 25th dynasty of Egypt was founded by Persians." because we found Persians in Egypt. You know, I mean, this guy is so slick, man. Yeah, I mean, and I mean, his teachings, man, just his teachings are very disturbing and disgusting, man. I mean, I mean, because he tried to make his argument sound so convincing, and the people who listen to him do not realize this guy is as pseudo as it gets. You know,
Well,
and
he's religious based, and he's just trying to use history or archaeology in his favor, but it's mainly religious based. But I'm not even, I've heard him before make some strange claims. So whenever I hear people make strange claims on a regular basis, I kind of not really pay too much attention to it. He will always have his supporters and his fans because there's plenty of people who believes in the same thing he believes in, even though there might be some variations. So whatever he says, he can say accurate things, like he can say things that just don't make sense. He will always have some people who will clap for him, just like we have some people who clap when they are teaching that when some are teaching that Africans are living a jungle life and that black means death, and that and so many other things. I mean, that's the way it is. But brothers and sisters, it's midnight and I'm working tomorrow morning, so I want to thank you all for being there. I'm gonna let Radio One make his closing remarks, and then I will call it a day. So feel free, brother Radio One.
oh yes, brother. Yeah, it's been good building on this, and I definitely want like to build on it some more. I'm going to do videos about it as well. Yeah, I mean, but um, the truth is in the history and the archaeology. You know, the indigenous Nubian origin for Egypt cannot be denied. You know, regardless of what pseudo teachers such as Zion Lex say, you know, evidence shows. You know, evidence shows that the founders of the pyramid dynasties, the pyramid builders, came from the south. You know, and then after the pyramids, you get the many temples of Karnak. You know, it is a nonstop continuity that took place that originated in the south from Nubia, went north to Nechin and Hierapolis and Abydos, went further north into Memphis, and that and from there on, that Egyptian culture continued all the way to the 30th dynasty. I mean, all the way to the 30th dynasty, going all the way back to Kustul and Nubia. I mean, that right there destroys a pseudo Mesopotamian Asiatic origin for Egypt, which is based solely on theory. And if I was to ever to debate Zion Lex or anybody on this subject, I will rip them to shreds because it is a lie that is not supported by history, primary sources, or records or archaeology. And these guys are lying. They have been lying for a long time. These same guys who say that Egypt was not founded by Africans are the same ones who say that we are the Israelites, we're not the Egyptians. You know, they have a deep hate for the Egyptians. And even the evidence is stronger to connect people of West Africa in the interior of Africa to Egypt than it is to Israel or any part of that area in Canaan or Arabia. You know, all this Canaan and Arabia stuff is based on theory, based on late history. And yeah, definitely you know, these ancient records, you know, this original history must be entertained, must be taught, must be taught and told the truth about, because these guys, they don't even want to entertain it. That's why they don't want to entertain it, because they don't want you to know the truth. They totally reject it when it comes to the black African Nubian origin of Egypt. in the connection between Kemet and West Africa, they don't entertain it. They entertain what they believe in. They entertain their pseudo religious beliefs. It has nothing to do with the truth. These guys, they're religious fanatics. They don't care about the truth. All they care about is the Abraham and Christianity, Jesus, and that's all that matters to them. The Muslims, all they care about is Allah. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about a historical text. They don't care about a migration. They don't care about none of that. All they want you to do is convert to Islam, convert to Christianity, and worship their God. Nothing else matters. They don't care about artifact, pre-dynastic Egypt, none of that. They don't care about that. All they all have an agenda. And one of those main agendas is to keep you from knowing the truth. It's to stop the truth from coming out. That's their main agenda. These guys are sick. They're pseudo, and they have been lying to our people for the longest, and that's pretty much all I want to say, Shaka. And also, I want to bring out, I couldn't help but notice because I watched your video again when you interviewed Garfield. Now, when I was paying attention, like I saw like fear, fear in the face of Garfield. He was hoping that you wouldn't bring some people on there and question him. Because he's been lying as well, and he knows that, and but I do agree some of what he's doing, by debunking these Hebrew Israelites. I give him credit on that, and but he's I would say he's not as bad as the Hebrew Israelites and the Abrahamic followers, but 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 hopefully he can he can come around that, and hopefully we can build with these other guys. They can get beyond their bias, and have a decent conversation on this without trying to hide something or cover up something, and or without an agenda, and but the truth is not coming out, and I haven't went in yet. I'm going to go in on my videos, and I'm going to get some of this truth out, and I'm telling you, it's not what you think it is. These people have been lying. I've been learning the language. I went beyond of the English language, and these people have been lying about the two main things: the Black African origin and race of ancient Egypt, and the connection between Kemet and West Africa. Those are my two main focuses. And these guys have been lying, and I will go in soon. But I'm just sharpening up my skills. Keeping up with my studying, because when I make a video, I want to be certain, 100% certain what I'm talking about, and I want to show you for sure, the truth, and the truth that they've been hiding. Is not what you think it is. And talk about the Nile River. I can tell you that the Niger River in West Africa was called the Nile River before the White Nile and the Blue Nile. Yes, because the Nile is a Greek word, and they also use that name for what we know as the Niger River. But they don't tell you that. And when you get into the language, you will start to see that. And tell the truth about what's going on, and about what the text is saying, then you will start to see that. But definitely, these guys have been lying, and I hope those debates at Sonnetter, I hope they get better. because these guys, it seems like that they be holding back when it comes to the origins of Egypt. I hope this guy Ngozi, he debates Zion Lex again, and he does a better job this time, because in the last debate, you know, Zion Lex pulled up an old video of him contradicting himself, and that made him look bad. But yeah, I definitely want to see somebody step up and debunk this guy and shut him up for good, because he is slick, and he's not for Kemet, and he is lying. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I got to say.
All right, thank you for your closing remarks, brother. Just before I put it into this live stream, we have Sister Anuket who asked, where is it? Oh, I don't see it. There it is. She asked, what is an Asiatic? When we say Asiatic, when we talk about Asiatic, we're just merely talking about people from the Asian continent, just like you would say European for someone who's from Europe, or African for someone who is from Africa. So when I say Asiatic, anyway, that's what I mean. And Amu is one of the words in Medu Nature used by the people of the Nile Valley. But there are other words, other terms to describe Asiatic or sea people. And the other thing is that quote, there it is, Anuket wrote, Dr. Ben said we came from the mountain of the moon, two mountains of the moon in Uganda and the Congo. I trust Dr. Ben's knowledge. The full quote is Dr. Ben allegedly quoting the papyrus of Hunefer, saying that we came from the foothill of the Nile where the god Hapi dwells. And many people have actually highlighted the fact that the papyrus of Hunefer doesn't say that. So it might have been a mistake from Dr. Ben, or maybe he was trying to quote another papyrus, but that's not to be found in the Hunefer papyrus. And it's not the end of the world. I mean, we all make mistakes. I've made a mistake, so it doesn't seem to be accurate, but doesn't take anything away from Dr. Ben. But we just have to be careful not to repeat some things that are not established or not accurate. There's no shame in doing that. See, no matter how much love and appreciation we might have for a particular individual. So that being said, brothers and sisters, stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to, by the next year, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotel. Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medunetcher classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medunetcher class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.